Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to make a really pretty necklace using beads from the Anne of Green Gables bead mix from Jessie James Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box Book Club. So let's turn down, I'll show you what we're going to do. I hope you enjoy this. Okay, what we've got here is a lovely pile of beads. Part of this is from my bead stash, and the other is from the beads from Anne of Green Gables, which the spacers are all from me and the beads are all from Anne of Green Gables. So what we're going to do here is, well, actually this teardrop was from Frankenstein, but it's going to stay here with this. And I've got a ball head pin. As well, all these spacers go in between the other things. So then we've got a 4.5 or 4.25? It looks like 4.25 inch piece of 18 gauge wire and a 3.25 inch piece of 18 gauge wire. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to get our wire mandrel out and we're going to wrap these around here. One, then we're going to do the same with the bigger one. Look, I just noticed this one has a little sharp edge. We do not want that on there, so we're going to cut that off. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to hammer them out and make double loops, and then we're going to hook it to this loop, and then we're going to hook this teardrop down to the bottom of this one. And if we have enough room, I'm hoping we do, we're going to take and if we don't have enough room, we will then just we may not, but if we don't, we will just revise. So let's do what we're going to do here. This is the first bit. Is what we're going to do is take and turn the ends on these. And it's going crooked on me, so we're going to have to straighten that up. And that's why I think we're going to have to revise. Once the loops are on here, it's going to be smaller, of course. So is going to hook down here, then this one will hook like so. Now this particular ring, you can use any ring you want to. I actually made this, it's one of the links from the Missing Link book, but any ring would work just fine. Turn the loops on this one. And then we're going to hammer it so it's flattened and got some texture to it. Well, both of them actually. I shouldn't say it because it's going to be two. So let's get that done. Let's get these things up out of the way so we don't have to worry about scrunching them as we get this done. So let's get our block out and our chasing hammer, and we'll get these done. Now, You may want to turn your sound down because this is going to get loud. Now I'm going to texture them some. Now I just use my ball peen side of mine to do my texturing. I like that texture the best. However, if you want a different texture, by all means, use one of the other things you can get on the floor. Well, we needed to do this one anyway, so let's get to this one. And then we'll pick that baby up and get it back in shape, because they do lose their shape when you're hammering them, and you need to repair it. Ouch, I just got the edge of my finger. Turn this one over. Now to texture. Okay. Now another thing you'll notice this particular side of the loop opened some. We don't want it open. So since we squished it, this side, oh, it did go in. I wasn't sure if the pliers would go in there, but they did, so that's good. Okay. So now I went to the lowest one first that it would fit over, because that way I could get that curve in there better. So there's our first one. Now I gotta go get the second one and finish it up. This littler one was almost done. It just needed finished texturing. I'm trying to squish my fingers again. Okay, so now we just got to get it into shape again. So pretty good. Now that's going to hang together. We want this to come a little tighter because it is going to have to hang with this one, and we want them to be about the same spot. That's pretty good. So we can put our block away and our wire mandrel, and we can start putting this together. Now I didn't get any jump rings out, so we will have to get those. We need 2 large jump rings for this. Ordinarily I would use a smaller one, but because these are going to sit together, they won't sit flat if they're not in a large one, because the large one lets them have the space to both fall into the curve. Whereas if you used a smaller one, then this space right here, where these two have got to fall together, would not be, this one would be going like this, because it wouldn't be in that groove. It would want to go right up there. So we want to get that jump ringed on, and then we're going to see if this one's still going to fit in here. And I'm not sure it's going to, because it might. We'll see. Actually, I should probably put it on first, because I think I'll hardwire it on, and that will leave me the space, because these are going to have to go on with jump rings. So let's do that. So to put that on, we're going to want to bend this over, and then get our stepped bell making pliers, and do I want the smallest or the second? I think we'll go with the second. I usually go with the first, but because it's going to go over this ring, we want to have plenty of space. So let's pull her over that. Now this is where it's going to sit. So now is where we're going to see, is it going to fit inside here? Since this is going to be hanging from a jump ring, I think it's going to be just fine. So let's hold this together right here and wrap her up. Now let's get this straighter here so that it doesn't wrap down too low. Now we'll trim this extra little bit off and tuck this in. So there we go with our dangle on this. I see I'm a little tucked here, so we have to straighten that, because you do want this to hang straight. So there we go. Now I need to get 2 big jump rings to put these 2 onto here, like so. Okay, we've got our big jump rings. We're going to open one of these up. We put both of those pieces together. Oop. On the one. And I just twisted those up so that one fell through the other one. That's not good. This, then this, and then we'll hook it on the ring. Close that up. Then we'll get the other one. Open it up and grab these 2 pieces. And put them on the ring. Oh, come on, what are you doing here? Okay. And yeah, the little dangle sits in there all right. So just like there. The next dangle we're going to make is for the bottom here. And that's going to be this teardrop here. So we'll put one little spacer to the bottom, the teardrop, and the bead cap. Now here is our choice. We can wrap this up and hook it straight to this bottom wire, or we can jump ring it on. I tend to like to jump ring them, so that's probably what I'm going to do. Excuse me. I tend to like to just hardwire them right on, so that's probably what I'm going to do, is just hardwire it right onto that bottom one right there. And then, so over and up and around. Again, we're going with the second one because we're going over this bigger ring here. Up and around, drop her down, bring her the rest of the way around. And then it's going to go onto this ring. We'll hold it. And, oh, come on, it looks like I only got hold of one side of the wire. We do need to get both sides. Push that down into place. And now we will wrap this baby up. Trim off the excess and tuck it in. So now if this is crooked here, we'll need to straighten it a little bit, just a little bit. And there is our pendant component. So, isn't that pretty? So next is we're going to do the sides, which of course are just going to be beaded. So what we're going to do is I'm going to sit the pendant piece to the side here, because I'm not going to put it on until we get a little bit more done here. So we will take some soft flex, and I'm using the peridot color. Now this is probably as much as I need for one side, so that's good. And I will put a bead stopper on it. Then we're just going to start up the side here with the design I have already made for it, which is going to be, there we are, a ball spacer. Then one of these type of bead caps, one of these teardrops. Drop it down in place there. Then we're going to use one of the larger spacers. Go on down there. One of these little green rondelles, like we used in the one of the small spacers. One of these pretty little octagons. Small spacer. Green. Then we're going to go with the bigger spacer and the cream. Let's bring these beads up so you can see them a little better. Actually, I should split them in half, since we know we're doing half and half, of course. So this one and its cap. There we go. Large and large. 1, 1. And the cream. That's what I've already got onto this other side. So then after the cream, we're going to put the large one on. And then one of these iridescent round coins here. Then we're back to a big one again. Oop. And this time we're going to reverse this pattern here, and we're going to go with one of these little octagons, one of the smalls, the green, the small, and the octagon. So big, you know what? I missed a bead in my pattern that I wanted in here, and I need to fix that. So it's down here. So we'll take this out till we get it in. Cream one out comes out too, apparently. I forgot my green roundel. Now back to this stuff. We'll put this closer to the top because it's got some kind of weird wowie at the bottom of it. Now it's back to this one again. Bing. Over there with you. Cream. Large. Green. Large, little green. Oop, come here, you. Small, octagonal, little. Green, large, and big green. Okay, let's put a bead stopper here. Then we'll make sure I've got the beads separate properly because I don't want to need to get some of these off of here. So let's make sure we've got the same over here. So this one, this big green, diagonal green, need two littles, a big, a green, a big, a cream, a big, two and green, two littles, a big, octagonal again, big, cream, big, green, big, these three, the two littles, the big, the green. I see I didn't put the big here at the end, which we will do now. And over here, these are our so let's see how long this is. It's only 6 inches. So that'd be 12, maybe 13 by the time we get that done. We're going to need at least another 5 inches. And I probably would rather have 6 or maybe even 8 inches so that this isn't way up close to the front. But let's get some more wire out and do this other side. I don't think I have enough to do both sides here with this. No, I don't. So we will get some more out. And we will just give ourselves some more room on this one so that it's... Now, I have a choice here. I could put this one onto my pendant right now before we string up the other side, which I may just do just so it's done on this one side. So we'll get a crimp tube and go over this right here. Okay, that looks pretty good. So these are 2x2 crimp tubes. This is my magical crimpers. These will only use a 2x2 crimp tube. So you put them in the middle and squish, turn, make sure it's still in the middle and squish. It's good. Now let's get is that any way to be? And there we go. This side is hooked onto our pendant. Like I say, that's not quite enough probably to do the other side. So we will just cut ourselves another piece of wire. So there's how she's looking. So now, because I've cut this other wire and I know how much we're going to need, I'm going to just cut some wire off. We'll crimp the other side onto here and we'll just bead it straight up. So we're going to need at least, I'd say, this much. And we'll cut that off. Put this to the side. And now we're going to crimp this one directly on. Right now. and then we'll bead right onto this wire. That's about the same size right there as far as the loops are concerned. So we'll crimp that right on into place. There we go. Come down here. Now we'll just start feeding our beads on. There's our second side all beaded up now. Now we just need to make the decision of how we want to finish this. Do we want to put some chain or something else on it? I'm leaning towards chain because that's the easiest thing to use. So we will get a little chain and see about finishing this baby off. So we have some chain here, and the question we want to ask ourselves is how long we want this to be. I'm thinking if we put this right at the collarbones where the beading ends, that that would be a good length. So I need to find out about how long around the back of my neck, a person's neck, specifically mine to check it with, to the collarbones, how many inches that is about. So I'm thinking it's about 12 inches, really, that much, huh? Yeah, that's what it says, 12. So how long is this in the first place? It's 12 inches, so that would make it about 24 inches finished size. Well, plus the pendant. So let's get 6 inches of chain for both sides, and then we will get that hooked on. So go to the side here, baby. Okay, there's one 6-inch length. And there's two 6-inch lengths. Now, if you want to make sure that you've got exactly the same amount of links, you can either measure it. Since I measured it, it should be about right, but it might be off by a link or two. Sometimes that happens. If you don't care if it's off by a link or two, you don't need to bother doing this, but looks like that's right on, so no problem whatsoever. So now what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to crimp these right onto our chains. So we've got some crimp tubes right here, so we'll just put a crimp tube on and then go through the last link of our chain, and then we're going to go up and through a couple beads here. Tighten that up. See how she's doing here. Looks like I need to tighten it just a hair's breadth. This looks like it's good. It's movable. So we'll push this down so that this is as tight as we can get it over down there. Then we will crimp this side onto here. Now that we've got this side crimped, we'll take and we'll cut our excess wire off here on this side. Then we'll have to go to the other side. Okay, so that side is now done. And now we have to crimp the chain onto the other side. Okay, so now we'll just do the exact same thing on this side. Put this crimp tube on, and then the chain. Now this is a lot more line, obviously, because I had that extra, because I used the last of that one spool. But I'm obviously gonna have to trim that off, but come on, baby, go through the bead. There it is. We'll just slide this down, pull it up, slide her down, pull it up. Whoops, I got that a little more up than I wanted, I think. Well, maybe not, because I think we'll be all right once we push these down into place. See how close it is? It's about just right, actually. So I'll take our crimper pliers and get it over that crimp tube and squish and turn and squish. Tug test, cut the extra wire off. And there we go. That side's now done as well. So the next thing we're going to do is hook our clasp on. I have chosen a magnetic clasp. And I have already had a couple of jump rings open that I started on something else and took off. So all we got to do is just pick up a jump ring, pick up one side of our chain, and then our magnet. Now this magnet clasp is tiny, but it's very strong. So it's what they call a mighty magnet. And it holds really well. In fact, you need to, this doesn't look like it's closed all the way. Get out of the way. When you open and close a mighty magnet, you want to do it sideways so that you don't have to worry about it. You want to push it to the side as you open and close it instead of trying to pull it directly apart. So let's get our other side here. There we go. And close her up. And there we go. This necklace is done. So as I said, when you're opening and closing these, push them slightly sideways before you try to pull them apart because they're very, very strong. So that's what she looks like. Oops, I got her backwards. The smallest one of the rings should be towards the front. Now I made these loops big enough that they could probably slide over this, but they don't really. You could have made them smaller if you want. So there is our necklace all finished. Isn't that pretty? So there we go. There is our Anne of Green Gables necklace. And of course this will hang more like this as it is worn. But the pendant wants to twist up just a hair's breadth there. But we can get that fixed. Go and pull down. So there she is. Pendant piece. And then our necklace. And I do believe it ended up being about 26 inches. Let's see if we can. Yeah, the teardrops are at 24. So yeah, 26 inches plus the pendant. So there she goes. Isn't that pretty? That turned out so nicely. Anyway, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we have been using the Anne of Green Gables bead mix from our Jessie James Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box Book Club. Hope you enjoyed making this with me. I really like the way it turned out. This is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.